Welcome to Whisperwood Stories. Seems my voice has finally decided to recover. Hopefully this means that soon I will be able to finally do the Haunted Mansion stream. I haven't forgotten about it. I just had a lot of things come up, and being sick was one of those things. I'll announce the official date, of course, on the channel, but until then, let's get into the stories. Today, we're going to read 3 stories from r/shortscarystories. Let's begin. Our first story is from Efficient Rub. I got banned from family reunions. My family is extremely spiritual. I'm not sure how to explain it other than they hate me. I'm a child of the devil because I was born on a blood moon, or for the science people in the room, a lunar eclipse. Now, they've never really done anything with this collective hatred, other than kind of shun me every now and again. They really like to make me feel like I'm not part of the family. It's fine though, because I don't have to deal with them anymore. My whole life, all they saw in me was bad luck. I was a bad omen, as they put it. And the longer I lived, the more I began to believe it myself. First of all, my mom passed away during birth due to a plethora of complications, and I've been blamed for it ever since. That, mixed with the eclipse, sealed my fate for life. On the day of my middle school graduation, my cousin had a doctor's appointment, and she was diagnosed with cancer. She beat it, luckily, but my family believes it was because they didn't allow me anywhere near her for the duration of her treatment and never said her name or spoke of her in my presence. The day I got my driver's license was, probably the worst of all. I was driving home from our celebratory dinner, my dad in the passenger seat, and my grandpa in the back. It was dark, but there weren't a lot of people on the road. When suddenly, a drunk driver barreled towards us. I tried to swerve out of the way, but I wasn't fast enough. I woke up in the hospital and was promptly informed that everyone involved in the crash had died, even the other driver. I somehow had survived in critical condition. Apparently, I had been in a coma for weeks, and during that time, my aunts, uncles, and cousins all came to visit me, only to deliver me cards that were filled with profanities and pitchforks. They called me the devil, among other horrible names. I wasn't even invited to the funeral, and not a single relative wanted to take me in, so I ended up in a group home. I'm 31 now, and every last relative I had is now gone. It's sad, really. I mean, all 6 of my aunts and uncles, all 15 of my cousins, all of them, gone. I don't feel bad, though. They were all horrible people, and they all spent their last moments staring down the barrel of an AR-15 I took from my grandpa's safe, begging and pleading that I spare them, apologizing for the torment all these years, saying, "We'll do better in the future." It was all bullshit. If I had let them live, they would have gone back to their old ways and cast me out again. They needed to pay for what they've done to me, and they needed to know to do it now. I have no remorse, and I hope to meet them all in hell one day. Our second story is from Regular User. Pops would be so proud. I think I finally understand all that my pops used to say when I was a kid. Trust, something hardly earned and easily lost. He was right. Of course, at the time, I didn't understand what he truly meant by this. I mean, once I lent Bob my plastic T-Rex and he lost it. Man, was I mad at him. Refused to speak to him for what felt like an eternity, but was more like 20 minutes. He apologized and we moved on. After all, he was my bestie. Friends are only good in movies and TV shows. In real life, trusting people will be no more than a weakness, kiddo. I always pitied my father. I thought he was sad and miserable, that sometime his best friend might have disappointed him, and he never made friends anymore. Poor Pops must be very lonely, I used to think. I used to tell him that Bob would never betray me, and our trust and friendship would last a lifetime. He would laugh. But, although it hurts me a lot to admit this, Pops were right. Our friendship didn't last a lifetime. Hell, it didn't last through college. Bob, this really hurts me more than it hurts you. Believe me, you shouldn't have slept with her. I knew he couldn't answer me, but weirdly, I was expecting an answer. For old time's sake, you get it, don't you? But all I could hear were his mumbles as I put the last brick on the wall. Just like Pops taught me that day when he put Uncle Lou and Mama to rest in the wall. Pops will be proud of me. Our last story is from Itchy Sanchez. You remind me so much of myself. My ghost was not your normal, everyday ghost. He didn't walk through walls, rattle chains, or move things around the room. In fact, perhaps you wouldn't find him scary at all, but he terrified me, and only me. Every night I would wake up at 3:12 a.m. For the first few nights, my dog growled and barked at him, but after some time, my dog came to expect his nightly visit. I was too scared early on, but after a time I would simply join him in the kitchen, sometimes making myself a cup of tea, because it wasn't his appearance that scared me, but his words. He would tell me that he used to live in my apartment, my dingy, unwelcoming one-bedroom apartment, and that he spent his whole life here. He never married and rarely socialized. He came to grow comfortable in this apartment, and soon he found out that he hardly left. The few friends he had slowly disappeared. Weekends alone slowly turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. And eventually, he realized that it had been years since he stepped foot outside. He would tell me the same thing every night, word for word, with the same lament in his voice. And just before he would disappear, he would tell me the same thing. You remind me so much of myself. I wasn't like him, I would say. I was different. I was better. But lonely weekends turned into lonely weeks. Lonely weeks turned into lonely months. For years, we had the same conversation, every night, for 65 years. I can't remember the last time I saw him. One night, he disappeared and never came back. I sat at that kitchen table, waiting for him, but he never returned. But I'm not lonely. A young man moved in to live with me, and on nights when he can't sleep, he would join me for a chat at the kitchen table. He's such a lovely young man. He reminds me so much of myself. Thank you for listening to Whisperwood Stories. If you enjoyed, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe down below. Do you have a story that you'd like me to read here? Consider commenting or sending it to whisperwoodsubmissions@gmail.com. The stories in this video were read with the author's permissions. Thank you again for listening, and be sure to check out the original Reddit posts. Want to support me? Check the link below where you can leave a tip if you wish. And remember, don't let the shadows get too close.